Good day, friends. New project, beautiful guitar, and believe it or not, a brand new guitar. New old stock. It's a Takamine. I don't even know what it is. Look, Takamine G Series GN930E in natural. What a fabulous looking guitar this is. Beautiful, and look at the back. I've got no idea what woods these are because I've done no research on this at all, but look at the binding there. It's absolutely beautiful. Is that maple binding? I think you'll find it is, you know. It's absolutely beautiful. And what a great guitar. So why is it in if it's brand new? Well, it's new old stock. And the owner is taking advantage of my new setup on a new guitar for £35. And he saw my work on YouTube. He couldn't believe I lived a mile away from him. And thought, yeah, taking a guitar to that guy, and he has done. He's bought this and he just says, can you do with the new player setup? Now I already know on checking that the nut needs recutting because the action or the height of the strings above the first fret is really very high. So we're going to sort that out. It'll be a Tusk nut TUSQ made by Graphtec, which will be basically a man-made ivory substitute, as will be the bridge saddles here. Two saddles on Takamines, a 2-string and a 4-string. Familiar with these as I refretted one a couple of years ago. So what a great looking guitar, but all it really needs is the frets are going to need a polish, fingerboard's going to be treated with mineral oil, as is the bridge. The strings certainly do need changing because they're black. This has been hung on the wall in the shop for a while, so like I say, it's new old stock. Plastic's peeling off, we're going to get rid of that anyway. So it's going to have a new set of strings, proper setup, nut recut, everything checked over. There is one small area of concern for me on this guitar, and that is the fact that it has a tiny bit of belly boards that way, but quite a lot this way. Certainly more than I would have liked to have seen on a brand new guitar. And I said to the owner, I says, you know, why don't you go back and ask him for a brand new one? He says, no, it's all right, it's going to be all right. Now I've checked that the action is already low, and if we ever need to lower the action, we can do. We could get rid of this belly bulge quite simply, just by putting something like a takeaway carton with a damp rag in there, or damp cloth. You can put it inside underneath this area, seal this hole and leave it a couple of days. It'll put, with the strings off, it'll put moisture back in the wood and it'll settle back down. That wouldn't be too difficult to do, but I've not been asked to do that. I've been asked to set it up and get it ready for tomorrow. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. There is not a lot of work in this. Take me just over an hour and a half tops, I would imagine. If we have no problems. I don't know about the frets. I'll check the frets when the owner was here, and they seem like they're all level, so probably won't have to work on any frets, which would be fantastic. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to get the strings off, have a look at the frets. I'll come back, let you know how the frets are, and then we're just going to crack on, get the frets polished, get my neck done, get some strings back on, and we'll cut that knot. Stay tuned. Right then guys, unfortunately we do need to level some frets, and in this case 4. I've gone and made sure the neck is dead flat or level, which it is, take my word for that. And we've 4 high spots over 4 frets, and we normally always get them where the body or where the heel joins the body on the guitar, and we do have 2 here, specifically this one, so I hope you can hear that, and one up here. So I've got those 2 need quite a bit of major work, and this one just a little on this edge, and one down here. So 4 frets. And normally doing 4 frets, we'd cover this in an intensive setup. But the thing with an intensive setup is £75, and we're not going to charge £75 because it's a new guitar. We're going to stick with a £35 new guitar setup, and I'm just going to charge him £5 per fret. So it's going to be a total of £55 for this. But again, quite sad to see that a brand new guitar has frets that need levelling. It should not happen. Frets should always be level when we come out of the factory, and they're not. And what can we put that down to? I don't know. It happens a lot. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be levelling these, and I'm going to use my normal 2-file method, which I'll show you. I've not got the files out. That's right, we'll go with these. And to level, I'm going to go with my trusty Swiss file made by Valorb. Beautiful file, very smooth but sharp cut. And we're just going to keep it nice and steady. And all we're going to do is very lightly just follow the radius and just glide across that fret. like so. Always checking what we do. And we're still rocking. I'm going to actually stand up for this. Nice and steady. When you get a bit more experience at this like I am, you get to know what a radius feels like. You pretty much know when you've got it right. But nice and steady, don't remove too much. You can't put material back. And that is beautiful. We check one forward and one back just to make sure we maintain the level across, because sometimes we remove material from this one, it can alter the relationship between these two and those two. In this case, it's not, and this is now level. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rebuild that crown. And because we've only removed a little bit of material, we can get away with, bear with me, I'll come back in a minute. Sorry about that guys, it's a phone call I had to take. Anyway, back to crowning. Because I've only removed a small amount of material, I'm going to use my crowning file, which has already got the, is it concave that way, Dave?
It's concave, is it? Yes.
Yeah, so it's concave, so it's already, and all we need to do with this is just glide it across, not removing any material from the top, just the edges, just to rebuild that crown. And there you go, and that is it. That is that fret leveled. We check the relationship, we check the height again, we check the relationship, one back, one forwards. It's level with the ones all around it. It means that this fret is now complete. I've got 3 more to do, so I'm going to crack on, do them off camera, so check back soon and I'll show you how we got on. Right then guys, I'm not zooming in because, well, I'll zoom in a little bit. I've got a lot on right now, and I had a few minutes ago when I was doing the last part of the video, I had the guy from DB Music, Big Dave Brown, was here with me. He often comes over on a Friday afternoon and we have a chin wag, talk guitars and that, but I says today I've got to work today, so I might now and again be intermittent on the video because I've got to video certain parts, and he's just gone now so I can crack on with this. And I've done the 4 frets that needed recrowning, and what we're going to do now is we're not going to faff about at all. We're going to spray this fingerboard with some mineral oil, blah blah blah. Explain why it says a million times. Mineral oil, called lemon oil, but it's not lemon oil, it's mineral oil with a hint of lemon to make it smell nice. And this is specially formulated for rosewood, ebony, pal ferro type fretboards. And what this will do is any grime on there can lift off, and it will also nourish the wood slightly. I recommend you do this once a year. At least once a year, depending on the conditions you keep the guitar in, but just let this soak in 10-15 minutes and then we'll wipe it all off, and it's going to put a little bit of moisture on there, stop the wood splitting and cracking later on down the line. Always good to do. And I also like to put a bit, you're not going to see where you are, but I like to put a little bit on the on the bridge as well. So I'm just going to spray a little bit on the cloth there. I'm just going to, trust me, I'm just going to go across the top of the bridge just to darken that up. And there you go, that now looks beautiful. And while that's happening, while that's soaking in 10-15 minutes, we're going to polish the frets. And how we're going to do that is, we have a wide, what we call a fingerboard guard. People call them fret guards, they're not fret guards, they don't guard the frets, we guard the fingerboard to stop you scratching it. And I've got different thicknesses, one for the high end, up here. And we're just going to polish these frets, really, really simple. Just going to take some steel wool. And I'll start at this end because you can see better. And we're just going to, and I'll tell you what, this might be a brand new guitar, but it's been played a lot because there's some dimples in these frets. Very slight, but they're there. But anyway, that's it. Really is that simple. Just go across the frets, give them a good polish, get into the corners, and get these frets polished. And the oil's doing its thing on the fingerboard. Like I say, this is having a simple setup. It's had work on 4 frets. The basic setup to get it playing right. Brand new guitar setup. And all I need to do after this is when this oil's soaked in, we'll give it at least 10 minutes. Gonna wipe it off and then we can get some strings back on. Get it tuned to pitch, make sure everything's set right, get the action set right. Which the action's pretty good anyway. The setup was pretty nice anyway. And then we can recut these nut slots. And once that's done, the guitar will be ready to go. And am I going to finish it tonight? I don't know. I've got to take the dog out and I've got to leave here in about an hour and 15 minutes. Dad, I'm going to get this done tonight, but I will get up in the morning and get the strings on and get the nut cut first thing in the morning. I've nearly polished these frets. It doesn't take long. I mean, you would have got by without having this being set up, but being a brand new guitar, I understand why people want to set up to their requirements. Those 4 frets would have needed attention somewhere down the line anyway, so we might as well get them done now. And the good thing about it now is the guy's going to get the guitar back with new set of strings on there, set up properly, with the wood, the fingerboard's been treated, the frets have been sorted, and, you know, and it's not a lot of money. It's going to cost him 55 quid. But the guitar now is good for time. You know, as long as he keeps the strings clean, he's going to fare well with this guitar. That's the frets polish, that's as much as we need to do. It's not hard work. That is not a full polish, by the way. When we do, so let's say for instance we do a refret, we do a much more in-depth polish than that, but there you go, that's nice. And that's part of the setup anyway. He did say I could remove the plastic, so I'm going to do that. That's off. We can wipe the bridge. I'm happy where the action is on this guitar. And there you go. It's a fine, fine instrument. I've not checked the electrics yet. I've not had it plugged in. I will do that in due course. Obviously when I've got the new strings on. So it's just a matter now of letting that oil soak in, get another 7 or 8 minutes, and we can get the new strings on and start getting the setup done. So nothing extraordinary about what I'm going to do next. I'm going to restring the guitar, and it's going to have some Diodario 8020 bronze on there, gauge 1152, so quite a heavy gauge. Will these be classed as, oh, they say custom light. To me that'd be quite heavy. But anyway, these are the strings that the owner has chosen. So it's what we're going to do. We will have to alter the truss rod accordingly, because these are probably going to give us a little bit more tension pulling that way. But that's not a problem. A regular 4mm type Allen key adjuster in there. And the good thing about that adjuster in there, I can get at it with my T-bar truss rod adjuster, which makes things a lot easier, because it means I can get at the truss rod while the strings are on, because this just goes in there beautifully. What a great piece of kit this is. I've got a couple of these made by Nielsen, very good, reputable company, making good quality tools, but not at snap-on prices. Anyway, here are the strings. I'm going to restring it, obviously, off camera. Stick those over there. Nice, big and fat, these strings. And once it's strung to pitch and I've got the neck set, we're going to come and look at getting these nut slots cut right. Right guys, final stretch on this guitar. We are going to cut the nut slots, and because these strings are a little bit wider than my regulation file set, this is a 1046 set, strings are a 1152 set. What we're going to do is we're going to slightly flare these wider. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that, but first I'm going to check the heights, or see how close these strings are to the first fret, and we're going to go with, I would like on the lower E to be about 0.3 above the first fret, and this is more or less about 0.5. Middle strings are okay, the looks of it. Just buzzing. So we're going to leave the middle two, we're just going to drop these two and these two. So we're going to take the closest one we've got, which is a 46, and we're just going to flare that a little bit, and we're just going to angle it slightly because it's not quite wide enough. We angle it slightly, we're just going to open up that slot. Perfect, job done. It really is that simple. I'm going to do the same with the next one. That string is a, what will the string be there? It'll be a 42. Well, I've got a 36 here. I could go with a 42 and widen it, but I mean 46. So I'm just going to go with the, and I'm just going to flare it over again. Doesn't need a lot of work. That's very good. Happy with that. Good with it, good with it, and it really is, it's simple. So we have an 11 and a 15, well we're going to go with a 10 and a 17, so, oh well, no, 10 and a 13, sorry. So there's a 10, just going to slightly flare this out again. And that will probably be enough. In fact, 17 will be perfect here. We're just going to do a couple of cuts here. There you go. That is the nut cut. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tune the guitar in again and we will be all done. And there we are, friends, we are all done. And what a beautiful looking guitar. Nothing major, just came in for a new guitar setup. Only a couple of minor things needed doing. Main thing, lowering the action on the nut, which doesn't take long at all. But it's had the fingerboard, the wood's been nourished, the rosewood, we've polished the frets, leveled some frets as well, level 4 frets. And getting it a clean and a good setup. And I am really, I'm really quite chuffed with this guitar. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking guitar, look at that. Fantastic, but it's all done. So, don't have a lot of time spare on my hands today, I've got a busy day. So, I'm going to wrap this one up and move on to the next one. So, there you go, Takamine G Series GN93CE. CE could mean cedar top, could mean electric, I'm not sure. Is it CE natural? I would imagine it means that, but anyway. What a lovely, just needs a little bit of a clean there. But what a lovely guitar, but it's all wrapped up. So, before I go, to remind you about the website, facebook.com/ng17, that's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. I'm Vic, I'm your fret friend. Until next time, God bless you. Be good to each other, and I'll see you soon.